So, Dynamic Boards NED Community, our topic for today is governing AI. And our speaker for today is Rahul Chakkara. Rahul is an experienced leader in transformation from digital to AI. He's led large-scale, multi-million-pound transformational changes in both large companies and smaller businesses. He is the founder and CEO of Manas AI, and he currently sits on the board of trustees and audit committee for Trinity College London, and he's a member of this community. Rahul, over to you.
Thanks, Sarah. Now, as all of us are aware, AI is getting a more powerful technology. It is getting pervasive. So the governance of AI is a critical board issue. In the next 10 minutes, I'm just going to make 5 simple points. I'm not going to get into details. I'm not going to touch on AI products and technologies because that's a much longer conversation. So starting, my first point is AI strategy. Every organization, every business, small, medium, or large, should have an AI strategy. And if your organization doesn't have an AI strategy, I think you should sit down with the executive and draft an AI strategy. Now, what AI strategy does is a couple of things. It sets the direction of travel of AI within your organization. It describes why you're using AI, what you plan to achieve, and how you're going to measure the success or failure. Importantly, you get everyone involved, and it's a very effective learning tool for the board, for the executive. It unearths risks that you have to manage going forward. By the way, having a discussion and deciding not to use AI is also a good strategy. It is possibly a relevant strategy for your business or your organization. But if you don't have an AI strategy at the moment, I would strongly recommend sitting down with the board and the exec and start thinking about drafting an AI strategy. And I would also recommend that someone in the board takes the lead on this and make sure that helps the executive navigate the AI landscape. The next 2 points are about risk management. And I've divided them in 2 because one of them is a big one. The first one is about confidentiality. AI products come in 3 flavors. Actually, it comes in more than 3, but generally you can say that 3 flavors. And I'll start describing the one on the right, own model. Own model is where an organization says, you know what, we're going to build our own. So they take an open source technology and they use the technology team to build their own flavor. The advantage is you have complete control. You control which data sits within the model. You control which data is used to train the model, where it resides, and when the data can be wiped out, etc. So it's a complete control. The downside is you need a pretty good team, technology team to do this. So it is going to be expensive and you'll have to maintain it for a long time. Absolutely essential if you're a large bank or an investment bank, etc. I wouldn't recommend it if you're a small company. In the middle, you have the enterprise plan. Enterprise plan is a flavor of the product that's offered by all the commercial organizations like OpenAI, Claude, Google Gemini, etc. What they do is they're basically offering you the same product, but they're giving you a guarantee that the data they will manage in a secure, confidential manner. What that means is the data that you're uploading, the documents that you're uploading, will not be used to train in the future. That means it doesn't leak. It will be kept mostly in Europe, and it will be erased after a reasonable time. So you can have the confidence that actually your data doesn't appear one day in public domain in a year's time or so. The downside is, of course, the subscription model is expensive. I don't know, instead of $20 or so, it may be $200 per seat. On the left side is what I call the free subscription plans. These are the ones that most of us use. The difference between free and subscription is free, of course. Subscription, you pay around $20 a month or $25 a month, and you get a few more features and maybe you get to use more data. But the data is not secure. The data is actually available for training. It can be kept anywhere where the organization wants it to. In fact, I've seen in some terms and conditions that it gives a right for people to actually look at it manually, and they can keep it for a long time. Every data, every document that you use with a free or subscription plan can be available in public domain. I'm not going to say it is going to be available, but it could be available. So if you can afford it, build your own model. Otherwise, my strong recommendation is, for the purpose of the board, data and documentation, use only the enterprise plan. Because if you're using this free or the $20 plan or $25 plan, you are putting your sensitive and confidential data in the public space. And that's not great for the organization and may not be great for you personally too. So that's about risk management on confidentiality and sensitive documents and data. My third point would be about risk management in compliance and ethics. Now, the AI operates on logic, which is like a black box. No one actually knows what's the logic. And the logic can keep on changing with use, which basically means your output is not as deterministic as it was 5 years back. That creates a lot of challenges from a compliance point of view and from an ethical point of view. From a compliance point of view, it creates a challenge that you meet the regulatory requirement from your sector point of view, national laws, data compliance laws, etc. From an ethical point of view, it means, the way I see it, is the use of AI amplifies some of the discrimination and biases that already exist within your organization. And it makes it very visible to everyone. So as a board, I would say the following. You have to know that you have a compliance challenge. You have to know that you have an ethical challenge. You will have to audit it, and you'll have to decide how you're going to mitigate it. You'll have to challenge the executive how they are going to mitigate it. My suggestion is, if you're deploying AI, the management of AI risk is formalized somewhere. Either it's within the audit and risk committee terms of reference, and you also have a proper internal audit program. So there is an internal auditor who would regularly go through and audit the compliance and ethical challenges. Fourth point is slightly more future-facing. The AI technologies are moving very fast. They're moving from a place where they're being brilliant at creating content, images, etc. We have all created images, videos, to a place where they're extremely intelligent. They're getting good at decision-making, and they are also getting good at autonomous action. They can take autonomous action, which means if you're a board member, this could be a very useful ally for you. Instead of reading 100 pages of data and documents, you could have your own AI assistant, which would go through all this, escalate to you all the issues it sees itself, and basically it becomes a very reliable board buddy. It's not there at the moment, but it's not very far away. I would suggest within a year, a lot of the larger boards will provide all the NED's AI assistant. In fact, I was in a discussion last week or the week before where someone even suggested within a board, you might have an autonomous AI board member. It's not feasible today, but could happen. My last point, and possibly the most important point, is about the culture. Now, there are two ways AI can be deployed in an organization or a company. One is with high degree of reluctance, fear of jobs, etc. Or it can be deployed with excitement. It can be seen as an opportunity to reshape the organization, the products, the relationship that you have with your own staff, the work culture, and the relationship you have with your customers. And you have to decide which direction you want to take. And the board needs to take the leadership on this one. And in fact, I would suggest when you're forming the AI strategy, the culture has to be a key component of that. Which culture are you going to adopt? And how are you going to encourage that culture? In summary, if you're a member of the board, you need to have an AI strategy. You need to be really aware of the risks about confidentiality, about compliance risk, ethical risk. You need to decide what culture you're going to have in adopting AI within your organization. Now, all of us agree that AI is a huge game changer, but it needs governance. It needs governance at the board level. And you will have to be on the front foot for this. Thank you.
Thank you, Rahul. You've really set the scene well, opened things up, got us all thinking. Thank you so much for the time you put into preparing that for us. We are now going to dive into some questions. There's 3 questions for you to think about. First, is your board discussing AI? Do you have a strategy? Is the board aware of the risks? And how are AI risks being managed? And lastly, what excites you about AI for the organisations that you are involved with? You can all just have a think and reflect on these before we jump into breakout rooms.